Welcome to the Laravel Collections Guide. In this series, we take a look at each of the available methods in the Laravel Collections class and dive deep through examples in explaining what it does. Today, we're going to be taking a look at collapse. Collapse is one of those array manipulation methods in the Laravel Collections class that helps us unify a collection that has chunks in it. So I want to show you what I mean. Let's start with a data variable, and let's have this data variable contain two arrays. So let me just add those now. Now our first array will have three numbers, 1, 2, and 3. And our second array will have three numbers as well, 4, 5, and 6. So let's return collect of that data object and simply call collapse. No parameters needed. Let's go ahead and run this. And as you can see, we get back one collection. Now you may note that the collapse method is the opposite of the chunk method. So if you wanted to attain this in the other direction, you would simply use chunk. So to wrap collapse up, one thing to note about it is that it does return a collection. It does not return a single item, but it returns a collection. So it allows us to daisy chain other methods to it. For example, let's call the first method. If you're not familiar with the first method, it simply returns the very first entry. And sure enough, there we get 1, which belongs to the very first entry. It is returning this entry right here, this very first one. So let's remove that, and let's go back to what we had. And there you are. We're back to getting a collection. So, very useful method that you can use to turn a 3D array into a 2D array. Just as a point of clarification, I want to show you another example. If we had an array and it contained another array, say with a string of array 1, and you collapsed it, you would still have your array. So it does not recursively collapse, it only collapses the very first layer. If we were to do this again, let's just say 2 and add another one. Again, it is collapsing the very first layer, but not the second layer. The second layer still returns as an array. To even make this even more crystal clear, I'm going to add 3, 4, and 5. And let's see what we get. So sure enough, you see here, you have 0, which contains the first array. You have 1, which contains the second array. And then finally, 3, 4, 5. So as you can tell, it removed one indentation of array, but it did not recursively collapse the whole method. It only does it on the first dimension of the array.